What's up? Welcome to One Cube. My name is Jake. We're here in Baltimore, Maryland. Beautiful scenic view behind us here. There's the city. There's a helicopter flying around. He's nice and friendly. We have a great show for you guys today. Our guest has been performing on stages for over 20 years. He's got a very, very extensive background with music. And as far as I'm concerned, he's a legend. So welcome to the show, Zoro.
Thank you, Jacob. Good to be here, man.
Excellent, man. Yeah, definitely.
So what's happening?
We're just hanging out. We're gonna hang out. We're here on One Cube.
All right,
that?
right here.
Awesome. Now, Zoro, you have played with tons of people. You've been playing for a long time, and seriously, as far as I'm concerned, you are a legend.
Thank you.
As far as music is. Tell me a little bit. Give me like a quick brief background as to who you've played with in the past.
Starting in 1983, one of the first major gigs I got was with the lead singer from Earth, Wind & Fire. His name was Philip Bailey, and that was an honor because they were one of my favorite groups. Then just quickly through the 20 years, I went on to the New Edition, and they were sort of like the Jackson 5 of the 80s. They were huge, and it was a lot of fun. Then I went on to work with Bobby Brown and Jody Watley, Lenny Kravitz, Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons, Vanessa Paradis, recorded with Lisa Marie Presley, Sean Lennon, lots of different people over the last about 24 years.
That's awesome.
It's been great.
That's great, man. The R&B, flavor, rock and roll, doing it all.
Yeah, you know what, when I look back on my career, I've been very blessed that I've got to play with a lot of people that were very different from each other.
Great, man. Awesome. We're gonna hear a lot more from Zoro and his wonderful career, and he's a wonderful person. In a minute.
It's a wonderful world.
There you go.
And this is a tune by a friend of mine, great percussionist, one of the most recorded percussionists in the world. His name is Ralph McDonald. And he allowed me to use this song from his album called Reunion. The tune is called Samba 4-2. And I'd like to dedicate this to my mother, Maria, who's up in heaven now. She passed away this last November, but she was the rock of my life. She's the one who gave me my passion and love for music. She gave me my zeal and lust for life, and she encouraged me and motivated me the whole way through all of my drumming endeavors.
My faith in the Lord began very, very early. My mother was a believer, and there's not a time that I can remember when I didn't feel the presence of God. And I maybe didn't even know what it was. You know, I might have been 4 or 5 years old. But my mother always taught me to have faith, and she always taught me about the principles of the Bible. And she grew up in Mexico City. She was Catholic, and she didn't know a lot of the stuff that we later learned when we went to other churches, you know. But she had her faith. She believed in Jesus, and Jesus was in her heart. And she really taught me that no matter what crisis or situation I was in, just have faith, son. God will help you. And so, I don't know, that's all I knew was faith. My mother, Maria, loved music and reared me on it, but that seed, you know, was really planted by God. And when I was about, I want to say maybe like 10 years old, she bought me a drum set, real cheap Mickey Mouse drum set. Literally, Mickey was on the bass drum cover,
Nice.
you know. But anyway, so she bought me that drum set for one Christmas, and it was made of paper heads, really cheap, and I destroyed it that day. I mean, it was that quick that I went through it with the bass drum and the sticks, and I never had another one until I was about 16, and that's when I bought a little 4-piece drum set myself, and that's where it started.
I'm curious as to where your faith in Jesus Christ began.
I remember officially going up and receiving the Lord in my heart when they had an altar call. And I just remember going up there crying and just asking Jesus into my heart. And I probably did it about 20 times before the age of 18 because I was like, I just want to make sure he's really there. You know what I mean? And every time they'd have another altar call, I'd be like, okay, I want, please forgive me. I want to, you know, because I wanted God in my heart. And here's the thing, when you begin to learn that the Jesus of the Bible and the God and the stories of the Bible, when you begin to learn that they're personal, and you go from knowing about him to knowing him, it takes on a whole nother thing. When I learned that the Lord loved me and that he died for me, and when I moved away from just knowing the stories of the Bible, and I guess by experience, by feeling the presence of God, and by God intervening in my life and doing substantial things that only God could do, it made the Lord extremely real. It made him like, this isn't just about Moses. This isn't just about Paul. Now it's about Z. And when when you start to experience those things by revelation of God Himself, you know, showing up in your life, you just have this incredible love for God, that His mercy is so great that no matter how many times you've messed up or slipped away, as long as you keep your heart open and move back to Him, He's there all the time.
You know, when you think rock star, right? When anyone thinks rock star,
Yeah.
they associate the drugs, the sex, the rock and roll.
Yeah, yeah.
And for you personally, I want to know like what your character has been as a rock star.
Well, I'm not your typical, you know, rock star by any means. And by that I mean the typical thing is, you know, and I'm not saying that I've never sinned. I'm not saying that I haven't made mistakes, but I never got caught into the usual traps. Like, I've never been drunk in my entire life, like ever. And I've never...
Drunk?
No, never. And I've never done any form of drugs. But that's not... To me, those things were logical. They weren't like even spiritual. You know, in other words, God gives you a certain amount of logic. I grew up in an underprivileged family with no money and had very few opportunities. So when success finally came my way, the last thing I wanted to do was squander it. So to me, like drinking and partying was like, well, then what am I going to have at the end of the tour? All my money's going to be gone. I wanted to study. I wanted to take drum lessons. I wanted to buy records. I wanted to buy CDs. And I wanted to invest so that at the end of an experience, a great door open, I wanted to be able to be in a better place, in a more elevated understanding of my craft. And so to me, avoiding all those things was not hard, because I could see that it brought nothing that was good. And all of the things that people chase after is the things that I was able to witness or see. You know, the rock and roll lifestyle and seeing how these others live. Look, if Elvis Presley and Howard Hughes and all these world superstars, they had all of the money you could want, they had all of the fame, they had all of the prestige, and in terms of things of the flesh, all of the sex, booze, money, rock and roll, all of the lustful things that the world can present to you as an offer, they had it all. Jimi Hendrix, Jim Morrison, Elvis, Chet Baker, all these people had all of these things. And you find out that at the end of their life, none of it mattered, because their lives all ended in tragic, sad. And so watching and observing those lives, and then the lives of people that I got to be around in this rock and roll industry, you know, the richest, most celebrated people and figures on the earth, from billionaire, business moguls to celebrities.
Sure.
When I realized these people don't have the joy, these people aren't happy, how could I think I could attain as much as they have? And even if I did, I could wind up like them.
Yeah.
So I believe God showed me that the world, apart from me, Z, has nothing to offer. My name is Zoro, and you've been watching One Cubed. The Lord has a plan for your life. He made you specifically for great things. Call the number on the screen and talk to some people who understand God and can answer your questions and the doubts that you have and the fears and the anxieties you have about your life. There's people on there who care because God put them there. Call the number and watch God intervene in your life. Watch heaven invade hellish situations that you're living in. Over and out. In Jesus' name, you're blessed. Follow your destiny. Follow God.
You're watching One Cubed.
What's up? We're here still kicking it with Zoro, the Z, Zenith, to the Z
picture,
power.
The big picture, Zenith, the big picture of groove.
The big picture group, I like that. Awesome, awesome. Zoro, I want to know, what is your message to this generation?
My message to this generation.
It's a big question.
It's a big question. Pursue God. Pursue Him with all of your heart. Surrender your heart to Him and offer your life to Him to be used, and God will do extraordinary things. And obey Him when you hear His voice. I think people hear God's voice more than they realize. They just always think it's them.
Zoro, you represent a group called Compassion. Tell me about that.
Well, it's called Compassion International. They've been around since 1952. They're a child advocate agency, and their goal is to release children from poverty. I have been a part of Compassion over the years where I was supporting children myself. And then about 3 years ago, I went to Ghana, Africa, and the Lord really opened my eyes to some of these third world nations and these children. Most people want to change the world, but they get overwhelmed and they don't know where to begin. And I tell them, begin with one child. Change the world for one life at a time, and you're changing the world. And I have my own children involved in it. They're 5 and 7, and I have them sponsoring with their own money children.
Oh, wow.
And I want to convey to all the parents and people out there, get your children into it early. Teach them, instead of just living this selfish life that we live in this world, in this country, where people don't understand there's a whole world outside of us that needs, you can't just say you know, Jesus loves you and go die and starve and let me not do anything. The love has to be demonstrated.
That's huge, man. That's huge. Thank you so much, man. Thanks for
you,
sharing.
man. It's been great.
Change your life, change someone else's life.
Change your clothes, change your drawer, change your address, change your email address, change your deodorant, change your laundry. Just change, whatever you do. For the Lord's sake, change.
Definitely check out the website, ZoroTheDrummer.com. Look for this guy coming to anywhere near you.
Anywhere. I'm coming everywhere.
Who knows?
I'm all over the place. I'm global. I'm international.
That's right. Awesome. But right now he's on One Cube, so thanks for your time, and we'll catch you later. And we'll see y'all next week. Peace.